Yeah, that mobility debuff is way too much. Way too much. It's unreasonable. The weapons break so easily that I don't even want to waste a grindstone on them. I'm going to save them for better weapons, I guess, because what's the point of sharpening something that's just going to break, especially with so few grindstones available and how few usages they have. I'd say probably the weapons and armor and shields and stuff break too easily. They are made of metal, after all. They should last longer. And probably my biggest concern of all with this game is since it's possible to accidentally break the lights, it would be great to be able to replace broken lights and to restore broken light bulbs. Since it's just a light bulb, it'd be nice to be able to find caches of light bulbs here and there and just go around to all these fixtures where the broken bulbs are and restore them, almost like reclaiming areas of the dungeon. Would be real great, especially with how very short the lanterns last and how sparse they are, because then we'd be able to explore areas that we've already gone through and light them up and be able to explore them without having to rely on the lantern. It's like there's lights everywhere, but they're all broken. And if it was only possible to turn them on and they didn't break, that'd be one thing. But since it's possible to accidentally break them, and sometimes when turning them on they burst, that would be a much loved feature, to be able to restore the lights. Look at this. This is kind of interesting. So that was weird. I stood on his head for long enough and he died. Didn't mean to fall on top of him. One thing that I'll notice that's really useful is the heavy armor ability has been increasing pretty steadily, and I've noticed that a lot of the attacks don't do as much, so that's definitely a saving grace. My sword's ability hasn't been increasing that much. I mean, I think I started out with 2. I thought I started out with +2. Since every other one starts out with +1, you'd think that swords would start out at 3, because I don't have a +1 in crossbows as a warrior, but I have a 1 in crossbows. So it should be Wait, or was it +2 in shields? Yeah, you're right. It's +2 in shields. So I started out with a 3 on shields. It should have been. And a 2 on swords. Alright. That's all. So the heavy armor ability also reduces stamina consumption during jumps and stealth. It'd be great if it reduced the stamina during all activities, attacks, stealth. I'm not really using stealth, jumps, especially running. So let's see, one attack. Well, actually, maybe it does, unless it's a sword ability. The sword ability, or the weapon skills, increasing critical damage and attack speed, basically, to me, makes it where you pretty much choose a weapon and stick with that weapon throughout the whole time. They're not really interchangeable, because going through the axes, they were significantly slower even by 1, but axes are a slower weapon than swords. It's one of the reasons I always choose swords ever since my Diablo days, is they are a faster weapon. Not as fast as daggers, but more damaging than daggers, and faster than all the other weapon types. And one-handed versus two-handed. Yeah, I probably need to stick with one-handed weapons if that's also increasing attack speed, don't I? I might go ahead and do that. Might stick with one-handed then, because the shield does make quite a... well, it's hard to say. With the weapons breaking as easily as they do, it's kind of important to carry a second one, unless I could use that slot to carry more than one-handed weapon. But I think that the speed of breaking weapons is kind of unreasonable for a dungeon like this. But maybe that's just because they're rusty. It makes sense if a rusty weapon... makes much more sense for a rusty weapon to break. Let's see. Is there a particular... yeah, well, durability... For this to be reasonable, a regular sword should probably have 10 times as much durability than a rusty sword at the rate that they're breaking. So if I find a regular sword, it should probably be like 60, and that would probably be the next level, because the next level from rusty would be just regular. The next level from that would be special. So I keep falling down holes and stuff because I do not have a lantern or anything. You know, not only are the lanterns damaged by certain attacks, which sucks in general, they also only last, what's 300, maybe a minute and a half or something. I just want to say 3 minutes. That's not a very long time, unless you're... Anyway. 3 minutes is not a very long time whatsoever. But this is annoying. Oh, is that all that I can hold in this thing? And it's not letting me stack them, huh? Can't click and drag, so. And it's a ½ pound per bolt. So I wonder, I'm gonna have to just drop this. I would say it might be better to pick up a lantern and then be able to refill it with other lanterns, and rather than have multiple lanterns, maybe be able to find cisterns of oil or something to refill them, because I'm basically playing the game in the dark, which maybe that's intended, and if that's intended, that's fine, but might be that it's on nightmare difficulty, but I'm basically getting used to existing without a lantern, and I keep falling down holes, and if you're going for realism, there's no coming back from falling down a hole. Not really. Better to have a lantern that lasts longer than to fall down a hole. This is another mild nitpick thing, but every time I take a sleep, a rest, these things become covered in dust again. It would be nice to keep them activated, just because, the exploration seems to be a big part of this, because it's such a slow game that exploration is very slow, and I'm pretty much feeling around in the dark. So it would be nice, at least, if, for the purpose of exploration in the dark, that if I explore it and the dust comes off of a thing, it shows as explored and the dust doesn't go away. I mean, the dust doesn't come back, which would kind of help. Like, you have this coin feature for saying where things are. I'm not really using that. I'm kind of going off of a mental map. I'm exploring an area until I know where it is mentally. I don't know if other people do that, but I might actually use that coin as a warning of the pitfalls in the future. That's a good idea. But it'd be nice if something was explored, like searched, for it to stay searched, unless you're trying to repopulate chests and things. And that's just make it easier. It's just kind of weird that the dust comes back on the monuments and things. Another thing is pretty much heavy armor. There's a lot of ambushes, and the ambushes are much more damaging than anything else. I can't really imagine playing this game with anything other than heavy armor, but I'm not a thief or a hunter or anything, so anyway. Another thing is, guy seems to drop his shield a lot. That's a pain in the ass. It's making me reconsider using shields. It just seems like a lot. Seems like quite a bit. I just don't know that the shields are worth it if you're gonna make me drop them so consistently. And I also don't know where the monsters are spawning from. I mean, you're having to make me run back and rest for a whole day every time I have a minor injury. And I'm really not making much progress with the exploration. So if there's any respawn in a game like this, it's just you're gonna make players who want to give up even a little bit more than me not want to play the game if you're adding respawn into these circumstances already. So it is possible that something has to do with, it might have to do with the shield skill, possibly, but the shield skill hasn't been going up very much, even though I've been using it. So It might have something to do with that. And again, I don't know if these enemies that I keep attacking in this dark room are from respawn or from other areas of the dungeon. You'd think that for a game like this, you'd want a limited number of, like a set number of enemies, especially if you're going to keep going down. Respawn really wouldn't make sense unless there was like some kind of spawner that maybe you could close up, or like a hole they were crawling out of, you could close up. Also, they don't really follow me. It's kind of frustrating that the aggro, like, they can't see me. I mean, they can see me better than I can see them, according to the journal. So, for me, you know, if I stay in the dark too long, I start to take damage. So I pretty much have to go back to a light source every time I want to fight something. So the aggro range is kind of frustrating, but it's probably also helpful in the case of like running away. So that's all. Also, considering a number of factors, the primary concern is that I'm still receiving a fairly significant amount of damage when blocking with the shield. And those factors are, one, there's a lot of stamina reduction from using a shield. And once the stamina, it looks like once the stamina is out, the shield gets dropped, that makes sense. Hopefully, with a greater skill, he'll be able to hold on to the shield. The other one is that the shields break really quick. And I think there's probably only a limited number of shields on this floor. So, considering those factors, I don't really get why he's still receiving huge chunks of damage when actively blocking with a shield. Maybe it's a crit or something, I don't know, but there's no floating numbers that show how much damage. Here, that'll be interesting. Here, that'll be interesting too. There's no like floating numbers to show me if something's a critical, but now I should be able to see if it's a critical or not, and see if maybe that's why the damage is reducing to the extent it is. So, falling down the hole made it to where it damaged my items, and it also is not allowing me to sharpen my weapons or repair them. So, because I fell down a hole, it is punishing me in addition to falling down the hole by looks like it's gonna break my items. And I'm going to have to find different items. Yeah, great. I guess if I want to just steamroll through the level and not really explore it, maybe I'd be better off. But I generally like to explore the levels. So, I did get confirmation just there that there is a cleave effect. I'm happy to see that. I'm happy to see that there's a cleave effect, which, if you don't know what cleave means, for anyone listening, that means that it just attacks more than one. It cleaves through one enemy and hits the other one. And I was able to see that because that enemy took damage thing. So there is confirmation for that. That's good. And as far as the aggro thing, I'm just going to have to get used to kiting them to the source. As it is, I'm just kind of trying to look for another safe point, another light point where I can heal and not take damage from the darkness. I'm going to keep going, but as you can see, I haven't made much progress, and I don't know if that's because of respawn or what. And I absolutely have no lantern left. I've only found 3 lanterns in this entire level. Test 1 2. 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 Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Testing. Okay, so I found a spawn point. Is there like a... I'm pretty sure that's a spawn point. Is there a way for me to... So you're not going to let me... You're going to make me wait to be able to repair my stuff so it doesn't break? Okay. Is there a way to damage the spawn point at all or anything like that? You know, like a torch where I can burn the point. That would be cool. Oh, additionally, this is another minor thing, but I have it set for I guess never mind. I was having a problem with, I have to mute my mic here and there, and I have to like toggle out of it, but I guess if I just go into the main menu, it no longer captures my mouse, so never mind. Usually that's the thing with full screen. But it does minimize the game every time that I click anything off screen. I'm guessing that shrieking is it calling for reinforcements, but I've yet to see reinforcement come during a shriek. So I put all those down trying to get it into a place that I wanted, and when I auto picked it picked up the one that I actually wanted. That's frustrating a little bit. Be nice if there was like a... Oh yeah, you picked up one 3 feet away. So it'd be nice if there was a way to place a coin. Like there what reason would I ever have to put a coin up there? I'll mark it as 2 being reference that there's a path in the middle. I'll try to remember that. Alright, I'm gonna get back on in a minute. I need to restart my computer. I'm trying to set it up to where I have 5 programmable buttons on this keyboard that I've never used. I'm gonna try to figure out how to set one of them up to remote, to mute the microphone in my capture software. I'm also needing to figure out, it always says I have 1 viewer, but it never shows me who that viewer is or anything. I need to contact Twitch about that. I'll probably do that while I'm restarting everything too. But I'll be back on in a minute.